Welcome to StonerCast, your official deep dive into Columbus Clingstones baseball. As the AA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves, the Clingstones are building the future of baseball in the A, and we're here to bring you closer to it all. Get the inside look at what makes this team and this community so special. This is StonerCast. Here's your hosts, Ricky and Dave.
Welcome into StonerCast. We are so glad that you're here. And, we've got an exciting episode today. But to introduce us first, I'm the host, Ricky. And this is my co-host, Dave, all the way from Pell City, Alabama.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Wasn't born in Columbus, but I was raised in Columbus. Moved here a few years back, but, I'm a Columbus Clingstones fan. As soon as we got the team, that was my team.
So we are stoked that you're joining us for this episode. We've got what I think is a great episode. We've got the manager of field operations, Danny Enright, with us today. Danny is responsible for that beautiful green grass, that meticulously manicured field, and what you see when you walk into Synovus Park. So, we're just going to jump right into it. And again, thank you for joining. Please like, subscribe, and share. Welcome, Danny.
What's going on, gentlemen? How you guys doing today?
Oh, man, we're great. Glad to have you here with us on the StonerCast. This is a treat. This is a true, we promised our listeners that they would get a true behind the scenes look at all things Clingstones. And I can't think of a better way to provide that than to have you on.
If you're looking for behind the scenes, it definitely starts with grounds, along with a few other departments within the team. But you want some behind the scenes, I got some stuff for you guys.
All right.
Absolutely. I remember the day we picked up parking passes, that season ticket holders picked up parking passes. And I walked into the stadium for the first time. And the first thing I looked at was that field. And dude, I was blown away. You guys did a tremendous job getting that thing ready to go in perfect shape. I know they started with kind of a blank canvas, but dude, from a kid that grew up going to games at Golden Park, to seeing my boys play games for their high school season at Golden Park.
That's cool.
To it being torn down and seeing the pictures of it during construction to, obviously what it is now. It's insane. It's awesome. It was just an incredible turnaround. So, I'm looking forward to getting to know some things about you personally and some, like I said, some behind the scene tips and tricks from you for how you guys keep it that way. So
it's definitely a gauntlet. This grounds work. It's kind of like you said, until I got into this industry, I didn't realize, you go to a game, you park, you get in about 30 minutes before, you grab a beer, you grab a hot dog, you head to your seat, and then it ends and you go home. And then you really don't realize, that the fact that, I walk through, me, Brendan, and our third guy, Travis, we're in the door at 8:00 in the morning. We're not out of there till 11:45 at night. That's just the way the game works.
Wow.
So that's why I'm mentioning, like, if you want some behind the stuff things, we do a lot on a daily basis. We wear a lot of hats and we tie the whole thing together. It's not just about the players, obviously, it's about the fans, but it's obviously bringing something safe for athletes to perform at their high peak and, not have nothing to worry about. So,
right. So,
yeah.
Well, let's get right into it, man. Let's meet Danny Enright first, though. You've worked at, just from our conversations, you've worked at some pretty incredible venues. Venues
my career.
That most folks are going to look at and be like, "Oh man, why'd you leave that spot?" And and I want you to tell about your desire for career progression and things. But you've been on teams that have had to prepare for like pretty major events, like college football playoffs and other major stadium events. Just go ahead and tell us about your journey to Columbus. Start with little Danny Enright, maybe pushing a bubble mower outside in the front yard.
I mean, well, it's funny. Had a series, I'm from Miami, Florida. One, we'll start off there. To survive down there, you gotta have, many ways of, filling your pocket, making money. So I was working a bunch of odd jobs, and I had to cancel one day. A client I was gonna meet up, and I flipped open my phone, and I was like 4 blocks from Marlins Park, and they're having a job fair. So I'm like, screw it. I played baseball. Let's pop in. Went to the job fair. Everyone's in suits and ties. I'm in shorts, some khaki shorts and a t-shirt. I walk up to the desk and the lady's like, grounds? And I'm like, sure, why not? Let's go. Walked my way down the hallway, met the grounds guys, had a few conversations with them. Apparently, I wasn't aware that the average person who applies, no matter where you're at, has no idea of the certain tools and stuff that needs to be done to work on a field, obviously. But the college I went to, not a big college, we were in charge of taking care of the basic minor things, post game, pre game stuff as a team. So when I walked in and started reeling off some names of like the tools and stuff that are used, their eyes lit up and they were like, who is this guy? Where's he from? Go down the hall right there, sign the papers, we'll contact you in a week. So it literally was how I dove into this industry 8 years ago. It was just a spoof. Like I literally was just, hey, this looks cool. I go to these games anyways, might as well get paid to go to them, and never once thinking that, hey, here we are. Um, so I started with the Marlins. My first season, luckily, we still had regular turf in that field, like regular grass, sod. Um, there were some issues with stadium design and stuff like that, where we had some dead spots where sun would get blocked by the building, by the stadium, and we would have dead spots. So after my first year, they ripped out synthetic. I mean, they ripped out sod, they put in synthetic. At that moment, the head grounds guy there, Chad Mulholland, along with Greg Jones, and Javi, they grabbed me aside and were like, hey, listen, like there may be a career path for you in this. If you're really serious about what you tell us, I think it might be a good opportunity for you to go work for the Miami Dolphins. They have grass. You'll get the experience hands on there and you'll be able to mend both together. You're still going to stay on as an employee for us for games, but you're going to go to Hard Rock Stadium in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, work from 5:30 to about 1:30 in the afternoon. You'll have a break, but you got to head down south and you got to work a game at night, kind of meshing both of the worlds together. Um, it was a great opportunity. I mean, Chad Mulholland down there is, you could ask Brendan. He's, I don't reach out to him as frequently. We kind of like send jokes to each other, like, yeah, you're right, about these types of things. But in the sense of a person for reference, I mean, he's in my back pocket if there's anything I need, if there's anything like that. So we've developed that relationship. It was one of those kind of relationships where he kind of saw how much I wanted to learn. And Chad's not really a big vocal kind of guy, but if he sees that you have some kind of draw into it, he'd be like, hey, bud, you're working with me today. Like, now all of a sudden you're working with you're working with the head of the Miami Marlins organization, who's like, there's only 32 of those guys around the league. So it's like big stuff like that. So in between those 3 years, so I worked 2 seasons with the Marlins. On my third season, that was when I started doing split with the Miami Marlins and the Miami Dolphins. That's where I met Tom Wilson, sorry, I don't know why I said Tim. Tom Wilson, who is the head of the Miami Dolphins. Now, that gentleman, like two polar opposite styles of grounds. We're talking baseball every night, rapid fire. We're talking NFL, pristine, perfect, just the way everything needs to be. Um, with that being said, also the Miami Dolphins share a stadium with the Miami Hurricanes. So there were plenty of times where we were, getting a field prepped, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then paint a field Thursday, paint a field Friday, have a game Saturday night, and then the Dolphins play Monday at 1. And you have to convert. You have to take out the sod at the 50-yard line. You got to put new sod in. You got to paint a dolphin. You got to move the hashes. So
Wow.
the opportunity that I was presented when it was like, hey, you should go over there to the Dolphins. You're going to learn a lot. It really shot my career path like on a whole nother level, because that year I worked the Orange Bowl and the national championship when Nick Saban, I want to say, beat Michigan. Is that who he beat? Think
What
so.
year?
2020. I know it. I know it was Bama. See,
I
they
think
all
that was
meshed together.
Michigan.
Yeah. It was Michigan. It was on New Year's Day. I remember because we watched fireworks at the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden, year one, you're at an Orange Bowl game, and then you're in a national championship. It's like, and mind you, and that was a stadium where me as a child, I sat in the 300 level and watched the Marlins win their first World Series. So it's like
Yeah.
the way everything got brought into me, it literally like, and what a third year person got to experience, like sweat, like this is where I want to be. There's no other place that I want to be in this planet than being on a professional field around these athletes and making things happen. So, and then upon 3 years of me being with the Dolphins, I was granted an opportunity to be full time with the Miami Marlins. So unfortunately, I had to part ways with the Dolphins, and that was where I landed on opportunities like having getting to work World Baseball Classics and Caribe series, and just the amount of like talent and stuff that I was now surrounded outside of football, which didn't really interest me that much. And now I'm like, I'm standing around, the Mike Trouts and the Turners and the Shohei Otanis and the best of the best in the world. And it just solidified, it put the cherry on the top. And it's like, okay, baseball is going to be my thing, like football, because I was kind of in the middle of like, do I want football? Do I want baseball? Football's cool. You have the summer off. Baseball's, cool. You have the holidays off. And then I'm just like, nah, baseball's my thing. Being able to set the table for Sandy Alcantara on a nightly basis when he went to Cy Young, you know, um, seeing Luis Ariz win batting titles in front of you. And the Marlins don't really have a lot to put on the table often, so when you're around, your hometown fan, hometown kid, and all of a sudden, you look at your paycheck and it says Miami Marlins LLC, you're like, kind of made it.
Yeah.
So it's, that's how my life got into this. I mean, I didn't go to school for it. I just was blessed to have mentors that saw that I cared and was like, hey, this guy could be a valuable asset. And then, here I am now.
And so I know you weren't born then, but you shared with us a story that your
Correct.
dad actually
Yes.
roamed the infield of
Correct.
the former Golden Park, our beautiful park that we talk often about.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your dad.
So my father was a 167-pound catcher drafted in, I want to say, the fourth round to the Kansas City Royals. No, I'm pretty sure Zebro would laugh if he heard that right now. But no, he was a really good ball player. He'll tell you to your face, so I'm not really talking mess about him. He could have been a better hitter, but he knew how to call a game and knew how to manage a game. So he was with Kansas City. He played at our stadium in '78 against the Astros, which were playing out of there. He did tell me that one of the games was they had like a 4-game series or something like that. The Friday night game was postponed and canceled because there was like a cicada attack. There was hundreds of thousands of cicadas. And my mom was there at that game. And my mom told me the story. She's been to the stadium plenty of times too. She's like, oh man, like the noise and the size of them, and like the umpires are like, no, we'll play it tomorrow. So they ended up having to play a doubleheader on a Saturday.
Oh,
So
wow.
he unfortunately he didn't get a chance to get to the stadium this year. He's seen plenty of pictures. As you know, like I post pretty frequently on my page. And it's like one of those things where he's like, man, he's like, it is not like anything like these. It's like, that's a minor league facility. I'm like, yeah, that's a AA facility, man.
Yeah.
So he has a little bit of history here too. He was able to catch behind the dish here for a weekend series, and he's looking forward to coming back. So
That's awesome. And I mean,
yeah,
just,
pretty cool story.
having that family connection there,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. He was like, I thought I'd never go back to this place, and he's like, I'm planning a trip. He's planning a trip here in a few weeks. I'm gonna show him around the stadium and stuff like that.
Awesome. And before we get too far into it, I do want to mention that Danny is somewhat of a newlywed.
Mm-hmm.
You want to shout out your wife?
Well, it's funny. Without her, none of this was possible. Like, I mean, she trusted in me, said, hey, I know your work ethic. You're going to knock things out. Let's go. I mean, we packed up me, her, 2 dogs. We have a nice 2-bedroom apartment right here in downtown. We love it. I'm 5-minute car ride from work. Like, I have no complaints. And yeah, no, we both have fallen in love with Columbus. Like it's very short lived, but it's the pace that we want. Miami's very high. Like I said, it's a competition. You got to have many streams of income. You got to have this, just to survive.
Right.
And us here, we finally found our nice little spot. I'm happy, she's happy, and so yes, shout out to my wife Carol. She's the best.
That is awesome to hear.
Yeah.
So
That is awesome.
after working in Miami and transitioning to Columbus, you
Mhm.
walked through the gates at Synovus Park for the first time. Was the field complete?
There was
Or was it-
no outfield fence.
Okay.
We
Okay.
walked from the parking lot to the field.
But
The batting cages
Sod-
were being built.
Sod was there. Field
Sod
was
had been laid like 10 days before. Yeah.
okay. So tell me your first thoughts about the field in the stadium, a place that has basically become kind of your home away from home. I know you spend many hours at Synovus Park. I love Synovus Park, but I don't know that I could spend,
Oh.
15 hours a day there. So
For sure.
tell me your first thoughts about the park, what you thought of what you were handed a field that you knew you had to care for and
Yeah.
maintain, and the construction that was still going on, kind of what were your thoughts of that?
Like I said, we parked in a parking lot. We walked to a trailer. We got hard hats and reflector vests. And Brendan's like, let's go see the field. And we just literally walked across the parking lot straight next to the center field side of the clubhouse and the batting cage and walked right onto the warning track. And it kind of like hit me at that point, because I come from a synthetic background mainly when it comes to baseball. And I mean, the first thing that hit me was there's a lot of grass to mow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of grass to mow. And I'm one of the very like positive. I see things on the more positive way. So there were a few things that from my putting in sod at Hard Rock and stuff like that that I saw that was like, oof, that needs a little work. But then again, like you just kick into overdrive and like my mind kicked in and was like, what can we do to get that better? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's the first victory of my entire stay here is like we're gonna work on that. So it automatically swept me off my feet. I didn't even have an apartment at that time. I went back to the hotel, met my wife, and was like, we're here. Like, game time. Like, let's, first we need a wall.
Yeah.
we need a fence. We need a shop. We need a mower. We need a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So, but it swept me off my feet. I don't think all the seats were even installed yet. So I would just look around and be like, opening night's gonna rock. Like,
Yeah.
there's not gonna be a spot open in this place. Like, and then it's like, then your mind starts clicking. Like, oh man, like what if the team embraces this and we just take the Southern League for storm and we like, walk away with a ring my first year. Like, like your mind
Yeah.
goes through the whole thing. And then you have to level back down and be like, it's just a job. Stay on your lane. But it definitely swept me off my feet the first time I saw it, and there wasn't even a scoreboard yet. Like it was just it was very desolate, very like you just heard the rumble of the highway, drills, hammers, and you're just like, okay, all right, here we are. Let's do it. This is my baby now. Let's take care of her. Yeah.
Awesome.
Danny, it's no secret that the players were thrilled with the playing surface when they first saw it. How rewarding was it for you and your staff to hear the positive feedback from the players when they first took the field?
So funny story. It was the day before they started practice. So it was like 2 days, 3 days before the season started. Players started showing up, and I was in the back. It was like 9:30 at night. I'm in the back and I'm stringing up the screens. And all of a sudden, this white car pulls in. I'm like, dude, what's going on, man? Like, I'm working. It's late. It's been a long day. And then two dudes pop out. They see me sitting on the floor. They just walk right by me and they go, I'm like, okay, it's cool. Whatever. So I get up and I'm like, hey, guys, can I help you guys? It was Cal Conley and Ian Mejia. I didn't know them. So I'm like, guys, field's closed, blah, 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 and stuff like that. And they're like, we're players. And it was about 9:30 at night.
Mhm.
And those two guys just were like, we are home. I guess after hearing the stories about where they came from in Mississippi, they had some field issues, they had some stuff along the lines that went like that. Obviously the stories came out as, we developed a really good friend. We're there more than they are. So I'll be see them in the morning, and then at night I'll be working the bullpen. They're leaving in their cars and they're like, bro, go home, go home. Like, you need to go home. So we developed a relationship with the players, and all of them say the same thing. This is unbelievable, this is the next level. But then we also, Brendan and I, we both come from a professional background, and we instilled in their head, if there's things you see out there, if you're a shortstop and you want it a certain way, if you're a catcher and you want it a certain way, tell
Mhm.
us. We're not like, we're treating this pro style. We're not treating, like Miguel Rojas would give us, hey, can you soften it up a little bit? It was a little hard last night. You know what I'm saying? We'd have, Brian Anderson at third base. Hey, the cutout in front of third, can you just give it a little bit more water? It's a little hard, so we instilled that in them, as like, hey, this isn't like last year, or this isn't like the high school or the college you came from. Come to us. If there, we were dancing back and forth this season, getting with Cody, saying like, hey, like, who's catching tonight? Because Zebro likes it dry, the other guy likes it soft. So like, we want to make sure that we're dialed in. So it was always great to hear, to see them, initial, obviously the wow factor, but throughout the season it was a constant, like, they're working out, they're stretching, they're doing their thing. We walk by and they'd be like, hey man, field played amazing last night. To have Lucas Braun say, hey man, whatever you did to that mound last night, in 6 days, do it again, because that's how I want it. So we want that communication, and it's always great to hear it come back when we get it dialed into the way that they want it, so that they can perform to their best ability. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we're here for. We're not here for you guys. We're here to make sure that those guys could go out there, thrust, do what they got to do at 100%, and not have to worry about anything else.
Well, you're not here for us, but I just want to let you know I also appreciate the beauty
Thank
that
you.
is the
Thank you.
field at Synovus
We
Park.
are here for you guys. That's for
Absolutely.
sure. Definitely. Because without us, not a lot of things happen. But no, for sure. Definitely. I mean, everyone's all included, but we want those guys to not have to worry about anything.
Yeah, for sure. So walk us through a typical in-season like game day schedule for your team, your grounds team, and then maybe give us a glance at what the typical off-season
Okay.
day looks like today.
Okay. So for instance, game day, right? 7:05 start time. Um, three guys do everything until 5 o'clock. Literally. So come in, we get in at 8:30, group, have your energy drink your coffee, hang out. We usually bust the gate open like at 9 a.m. Um, we hand water on game days, so that takes about an hour out of my day. Basically, the reason for that is that you don't want to soften the edge with irrigation. Something that you can't control. Like, yeah, the irrigation could be lined up perfect, but if there's wind that night, all of a sudden your base paths are torched in the morning. So we eliminate that. And so I water the infield hand water. It takes about an hour. If I do it fast, like 35 minutes, depending on, if how things go. While that's going on, Travis, our other hourly, is in the bullpens. Getting things topped, getting things ready to go, adding moisture. We then jump Brendan. By that time, Brendan will be popping out with the mower, and Brendan will be mowing the outfield. I'll make my way back to the back. I will jump on the mower and mow the sidelines in the infield with the smaller mower. At that time, Travis is bringing down nets. He's bringing down batters boxes. He's bringing down paint guns. He's bringing, I mean, the whole 9 yards, like everything that it takes to go. Um, After we mow, we kind of regroup for a little bit, um, get some stuff ready back at the shop for the night guys when they come in, so that way they could grab and go. Because I mean, you got to remember too, baseball hasn't really been in Columbus in a while, let alone a professional aspect of it. So a lot of these guys still are really green. So we have to kind of, like, I don't want to say spoon feed them, because man, our crew stepped up this year like I've never thought. I thought it was going to be a disaster, but tools,
Good
they
training.
they don't Yeah, exactly. We're spoon feeding them because like where this industry gets better is from years to come. Like you want to have guys on your crew for 6, 7, 8, 9 years, you know. But so with that being said, we move to the back, and then like around 2 o'clock, depending if there's early work, we'll set up. I don't know if you guys have seen those mesh screens we put out on the field for batting
Yeah.
practice.
Hmm.
That's so like when the ball hits, it doesn't cause like a divot, you know.
Hmm.
We set that whole thing up, and then we finally get to take our foot off the gas like around 2:30, 3 o'clock. That's when our team will come out and start batting practice and do everything. And then the transfer over, we'll quick do a drag of the infield. Oh, mind you, while I was talking earlier, we are constantly watering the infield about 3 or 4 times a day just to keep that moisture in. Brendan handles that, so that's why it slipped my mind. But then batting practice goes on, and then by the tail end of visitors batting practice, which is about 5:15, 5:30, that's when our part-timers start, our game staff starts showing up. And then it's basically take apart everything that we just put together in the morning, find some time to change your clothes and put some deodorant on and look halfway decent for the game. And then all of a sudden it's first pitch, and then all of a sudden it's over, and then you're laying in bed saying how, I listened to Pete's podcast the other day, and like kind of like I chuckled when he said like you get in bed and your significant other was like, so how's your day, and you're just like, I don't know. Like I really just don't know. It started here and it's ending in the same spot. So I guess it went well. Like, just so it's
Just
it's very fast, very downhill. Um, and but you get in a routine. You get in a spot where you like. I mean, I'm always looking at my watch where you're like, 10:35. I'm usually ringing up the hose after I watered the infield. You know what I'm saying? And then you just know where you're at always, like every day. 11:30, I look at Travis, our other guy, be like, hey, we're ahead. Like we could take our foot off the gas a little bit. Like let's catch our. So it's a constant battle in that, in season, and then out of season it's a lot slower, but the work is equally as directed to being like something you need to take care of. Like I'm pretty sure you guys saw that towards the end of the season the grass was stressing a little bit of miscolorization, stuff like that. That grass is new. It doesn't know any better. It's just like a limb. When you put a kidney inside someone's body from another person, it works good for about 5 days, but then the body goes through like a little bit of a rejection phase. That's kind of what we were going through with our turf. We were having some issues there. So in the off season, it's good. Like now is crucial because we have about 6 to 8 weeks before, the cold weather starts to come in and things get dormant. So it is a lot slower. It's a 9 to 5 pace, which is very nice change of pace for us, considering the amount of hours that we work. But the work is equally as focused. You're not having to worry about the infield or pitcher's mounds or plates, but you got to worry about, the $2 million piece of grass that you have sitting there. You can't let that go downhill. So that's where, like, I mean, I haven't brought up Brendan enough right now, but Brendan's younger than me, but Brendan knows his stuff. Brendan is a source of information for me. He'll back it up too. I'm constantly asking him, like, I feel like he's like, are you quizzing me? I'm like, no, I'm curious. I'm like this is what I would do in this situation. Am I right? And he's like, yeah, like that makes sense. Like, so he's constantly feeding me off of stuff. And at this point of the off season, Brendan is at home right now, on his vacation. And he's basically given me the reins, but he's given me an order of operations of things to do, and doing it hands-on. The preparation is equally as more focused, especially when it comes to the grass in the off season as it is in the in season, because there's only so many hours in the day in season for you to be like, I can't focus on this, I got to go do this, like, I gotta, so off season is more putting the field to sleep, cleaning up, because it is, I mean, we're not slobs, but I mean, we work with dirt, so our shop is all dirty, everything's along the lines, it's just it's it's bring it home. Like it's one of the best times of the year, because the only thing you really have to worry about is the grass. But when the off season, it's like, hey, like what do we want to do today? Like what do we want to focus on today? Make sure
Yeah.
irrigation's dialed in, make sure stuff like that. But you can't let the work ethic and everything slip away too, because it's still this is still a major league organization. This is still things still need to be done. You can't just sit on your butt and do nothing all day.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So one last thing. So like pertaining to the grass, like the second the season ended this year, we top dressed it, which is basically we put a thin layer of sand on top of the entire area of like has grass, basically to up the sub layer a little bit. And then we aerated, which is a machine that we drive over the field that pokes holes, which allows air and nutrients to reach the root base. And then we did this process where it's verticutting, which is basically your normal reel is like this, where it's still a cylinder reel, but the blades are like sticks.
Mhm.
And basically, the way you make Bermuda grass stronger and look better is stressing it out. So literally, like the season ended Sunday, and Monday we were out there stressing that grass out. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get that grass to get stronger to prepare for the off season where the temperatures go down and then no growth happens whatsoever.
Shifting away from baseball a little bit, in the event Synovus Park were to host a non-baseball event, such as a concert or community event, what preparations would be made by you and your team to get the field ready and ensure it wouldn't see any major damage?
Okay, so I'm not sure as to how it would work here,
Mhm.
being that where I was previous, it was like the Miami Marlins and the Miami Dolphins, like they outsourced a lot. I could speak on basically how it's done. Basically the grounds guys just monitor. That was like
Mhm.
our best. It's part of the process is like, let's say if they put a stage in the outfield, right? They have this stuff, it's called Terraplast, which is like these big plastic squares, and they interlock kind of like Legos
Mhm.
on a flat surface, creating, and basically they're like rated for like certain so many pounds per, like if you double stack them, stuff like that, and it will prevent it still happens, but it will prevent like massive like movement of the sod and the grass underneath. So the first
Mhm.
thing that would go down would be called would be that it's called Terraplast. And then they would, at that point they would start building stages and doing everything like um my first day at Marlins Park, like full-time day, opening day was the following like Tuesday or something like that, when Monday, and they had Monster Jam. The monster trucks.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
So we literally had like I don't know how many truckloads of sands, monster trucks driving through our shop. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, a weekend of trucks jumping everywhere, and then in 48 hours that was cleared out, and we played a game, the first game of the season. Then, so like when it comes to creating events and stuff like that, the grounds, we kind of just make sure that, hey, like, what do you need? Like, you need this, you need water, you need electricity. Like, this is where the hookups are. Um, but I'm not sure how it would be on the minor league level if, like, because obviously there's a pay difference and everything along those lines in the sense of what the Marlins could push out versus what the Clingstones could push out.
I got you.
Um, in the sense of an event, I think it would be really cool to see events. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think it'll help bring the community together in the sense of like if someone comes to see a concert here and they normally wouldn't come to a baseball game, I think you might be able to like hook, line, and sinker some people that you wouldn't necessarily get to come in on a weekly basis, and come around when season starts.
And there are plans for some stuff. I heard Pete on the radio just a week or so ago discussing some things that are in the works that'll be happening at Synovus Park. So I'm pretty stoked for those. All right, Danny, let's talk water. Obviously, it's a double-edged sword, right? You got to have it for all that beautiful grass to survive and to thrive. But Georgia summers bring thunderstorms, afternoons, evenings, heavy thunderstorms. That water can obviously wreak havoc on a field. What kind of systems are in place for you guys to manage water? Are they just basic drains, or you guys have an underground drainage system?
Yeah, so basically we have a underground drainage system that goes around the entire perimeter of the field. And then throughout the field, let's say from left field bullpen door towards about maybe 30 feet, not 30 feet, about 15 feet off the back arch of the infield. Same thing, let's say from our gate. So there's like basically fingers that come down like this. So the diamond comes like this, but from the outfield, there's fingers that come towards it, and it's basically a drainage system. I don't know the technicality of the construction of it. However, I do know that it's a newer style system. It works like a champion. I know you guys saw that we had some days where we're like, how are you even going to play? Like, especially when we pulled the tarp off. When we pull the tarp off, you guys see a lot of that standing water.
Yeah.
That gets eaten up real quick. That water is through the grass, through the sand, through the rock layer, and in the parking lot faster than you guys can imagine. Like it's
wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I know the last rain delay we had of the season. We were wondering, are we going to even get this game in?
Yeah.
And it was awesome. You know, watching you guys come out with those small squeegees and trying to squeegee off the tarp, but you kept pushing it outfield. I'm like, well, that's going to suck for the outfielders. But literally, you would push the water off the top, and it disappeared. It was gone. Yeah. It was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, it eats it up real quick.
Yeah, that's about the only rain delay I kind of stuck around and actually watched. You know what was happening, and you know I've said many times in our Facebook group how cool it is to see every member of that staff come out on the field. The account executives, Mackenzie was out there.
Yeah.
You know, Olivia's out there, and they're all pulling tarp, and it's you'd never see that at the Brave Stadium. You're not going to see Alex Anthopoulos come down and pull tarp like Pete does, but in Double-A,
parking garage. Literally,
in Double-A,
you have one by league standard, but it was in the parking garage. I've never seen a tarp until I came here, like on a field, pull the tarp. Never done it.
It was cool to watch, and you guys brought out the last rain delay. You brought out the machine to like blow the air up under the tarp. It was just cool watching you guys scramble and get it done, and you got it done. And luckily we had Lucas Braun pitching for the Stripers on the big screen, so we were able to watch his debut with the Stripers.
We did.
While you guys worked away, and it was really cool to watch everybody come together. And I mean, you guys got it playable, 45 minutes after the rain stopped. So kudos again to you and your team. And I've said that in our Facebook group many times this year that you guys. I mean, and I don't have a ton of stadium experience in different stadiums and watching how their crews react, but you guys, I feel like we're the best of the best. So congrats on a phenomenal season.
I was at that last game. I was at that last game too, and I was sitting in section 106, I believe. And after the rain had stopped, we were watching y'all blow the tarp up and get the water off of it. And just like Ricky said, it was like watching all that water go off. And the warning track area, the dirt area right there around the infield behind home plate. We were wondering, I was looking at that going, the players aren't going to like a bunch of standing water there. And then I looked a little closer and I saw those drains, that are kind of up under the padding.
The yellow
I said, they're probably going to squeegee it through there. And that's what they did. So I thought, I was really fascinated by that.
Yeah. They're designed nowadays to just get water out like real quick, I mean, when I was at Hard Rock, they have this thing, sub air machine. So basically what that is it has the ability to suck water down. So like if they get like a torrential downpour, they flip a switch and it slowly sucks the water down, creating a better playing facility. Or if it's like dampish, you could flip it and it could lightly blow air up and rise the water to the top. So it's like seeing both worlds. Like obviously Hard Rock Stadium, we're talking the World Cup coming up, a bunch of crazy stuff. Of course, they're going to have over the top stuff, but then, you mentally think, here we go, we're going to minor league baseball. This is going to be a, show. And then you come here and that field takes water like a champion. So it's one of those things where.
Well, and think about it too. Synovus Park was built, to host a AA team, but I mean, right now the Oakland Athletics are playing in one of their minor league team stadiums. Anything could happen. Obviously the Braves aren't going to lose their home, but anything could happen, and you guys may have to be ready at the drop of a hat to host a Braves game or to host, a Gwinnett game. And I think personally, at least from looking at the field, I think any team will be honored to play on it. I know that even opposing teams have stated how nice the field was. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Danny, Synovus Park has one of the most state-of-the-art fields in all of minor league baseball. Could you elaborate on some of the most effective improvements that were made to the new field, or when the new field was installed?
Okay, so I'll start off the top. Irrigation. We have a crazy cool piece of technology when it comes to irrigation. We obviously everything's brand new. We hardly have any, like when there's a little a break in irrigation over a day or two, you'll start to see, we call them hot spots. This sprinkler system that we have now, like I said, depending on total wind, I mean, we have like next to zero when it comes to that. So irrigation to me is one of the things that I'm head over heels for. It also is like Bluetooth. So like, for instance, I don't have access to it. Don't judge me. But Brendan could be sitting in Wisconsin right now and he could flip on the whole state, like our stadium's irrigation sitting 2 time zones over.
Wow.
So we have that aspect. Very cool piece of technology. Also, when it comes to like radar, we have back at our shop, we have like a wind jammer. We have a wind directional. We have a rain catcher. We have like a little tablet that sits on our main desk that gives us, humidity, the moisture in the air, the highs, the lows, the wind, how much rain we got for the week. Like we have a really cool piece of equipment when it comes to that. And those are like nerd things. Those are things that like grounds guys are like, oh man, this is really cool. Like,
I feel like it's pretty
sprinklers,
cool too.
sprinklers and radars. But say again.
I said I want to see it.
Yeah, come on down. We got brand. I mean, obviously, new stadium. We got brand new mowers. That's always, when you're a grounds guy, it's always nice to get on something that has 0 hours. Those types of things, the lights, the home run lights, the pregame lights, the postgame lights, the LED aspect. I think that's something that I know it's coming pretty more common now. You see it, like high schools have them and stuff like that, but I think it's a really good touch. Pete spoke about this, like the expansion of the PDL, like our batting cages are big. I mean, they're spacious, they're AC'd. Those types of things, I think, from my standpoint are great. I don't really get a chance to see it. Like, I didn't walk the concourse until like a quarter through the season. Like, I had never walked through it with people. Like, so it's like wow. From my point of view, things like lights and radars and lawnmowers and stuff, and that's like, hey, hoot and holler, and like you guys see it from a different, at least the lights we could share, like in the sense of the point of view. I think that's a really cool additive. But I think they did a really good job of making it an older park retrofit into something that's new. Like, this park has history. I mean, you see the Wall of Fame. It's one of those things. And then now, you have LED lights where you can just flip a switch and they turn on, and they turn off. We have a Jumbotron that, I mean, I didn't think that was even possible when it comes to like a park this size. And that thing's massive. Yeah. It's crystal clear. Yeah. I watch movies on it. We work on sometimes Saturdays. We throw college football on it. It's next level. So I think they did a really good job. And then I'm not aware too much of the history of the clock, but I think tying it together with the ribbon on top of the scoreboard and the clock. Yeah. Now that we got the time set, we don't. We got everything going, but I
I can't put a damper on anything. Just the way that this, this old lady down the street, this park turned into this new state of the art. We got skyboxes, we got all kinds of things, man. That the Aflac Club is crazy. So I think it stretches. Like from a fan's point of view, that's stuff on your side. From my point of view, it was the things I previously discussed that kind of like swept me off my feet when it came here.
Give her a new dress, a new shade of lipstick, and she's, good as new. But,
Exactly.
growing up and going to Red Sticks and Mudcats games there at Golden Park, the clubhouses used to be in the concourse. So the third base side, right when you come from the picnic area into the concourse, the clubhouse used to be to your left, like behind the dugout. And as kids, you'd go and stand there for autographs and stuff, after games.
That's cool.
Cool. And I kind of thought when they initially saw the park, I was like, that's crazy. Those guys have to run all the way across the field to get back in the locker room. Yeah. But going to Montgomery, it's the same thing. I don't know about Birmingham, but I think it's
a lot of minor league facilities like that.
Yeah.
A lot of minor league facilities, they have like a buddy of mine played minor league baseball years back, and he got ejected, and he's like, I had to do the walk of shame. Like I had to walk across the field to the outfield, go on the other side of the fence, and it's like, it's. I think that is cool.
I can't remember who we were playing. The pitcher got ejected because he had the foreign substance on his glove from the opposing team. Mm-hmm. They ejected him, and he's in the dugout. I'm sitting in the stands like, no, that guy's got to go, man. He's got to go. Yeah. When I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. They're not going to make him walk all the way across the field. Yeah. So it's sure enough, the next inning, dude's walking on the warning track, going around to go out to the clubhouse. So pretty interesting.
It happened to Gabella this year when he got tossed, and then the gate was locked. So you had to walk back across the field, and then he actually went to the clubhouse via the fans. I was like, this is minor league baseball. It was like my first week.
I wish I would have been. I was not there for that game. I wish I would have been there for that.
I remember seeing it on TV. I didn't see that part. I didn't know he was locked out, but I remember when he got thrown out.
Yeah, because someone has to let you. You can't open from the inside out. Someone has to let you in. So he walked over there and no one was in the clubhouse. So you got to turn around and walk back. I'm like, this is great. I love this.
Danny, it's something that I've wondered ever since I saw it, as I'm sure many others did. I quickly noticed that the dirt around most of the mound is a little different than the rest of the dirt on the infield. Is there a specific purpose for it, or is it just for visual design?
It's that's guys who hold rakes for a living opportunity to make art. That's the way we see it. There's no different playability, no nothing. We try to match the mound. I don't know if you notice in front of the plate, the small little area is another color as well. It's just, so many things that we could do there. I don't know if you remember in the beginning of the year, the middle was like a lighter color and the back was black. That's just
right.
Grown guys playing with dirt. That's all it is.
It looks great. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
I loved it when you guys did the seams that made the mound look like a baseball. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah. That's neat too. Yeah, I mean, I think just you guys
you went away from that.
Yeah, it's also too. It's more about so the lighter color, dirt, that dirt absorbs water better and it keeps moisture in between the top layer and like the hard layer of clay. So the lighter one is a more all around player. So like if you're expecting like rain or something like that, you don't want your whole home plate area to be covered in something that is not going to be beneficial if there's rain later on in the week or stuff like that. So there's certain areas where we don't put it. Like, I don't know if you noticed throughout the year, the infield would get a little bit darker, a little bit darker, a little bit darker. What we were doing is we were adding little by little, we were adding a little bit more of the darker stuff that was on the mound to the infield to change the thing. But that's just like I spoke earlier, that's just dudes playing with dirt, just trying to change the dynamic. Like it's one thing you guys come here and you see baseball. Baseball's a very repetitive sport. 27 outs, throw the ball to the catcher, you hit it, you run. Very repetitive. We try to change like the aspect of like, hey, like, oh, cool, this looks really good tonight. Oh, damn, I like this style. You saw it with our Memorial Day, our 4th of July, and our military. Like,
Oh, dude.
you gave us
I
a chance.
just thought about that.
Yeah. So like you give us a chance to create something, and hey, if you trust in us, like Pete's like, do whatever you guys got to do. He's like, I trust you guys, and just go from there. And like you're giving us an opportunity to change it up a little bit, like that's like our gift to you. Like we can't go up there and hit a double, but we could change the way the field looks, when you guys come in every 7 days, 8 days,
That military, the stars and stripes that you guys did around the backside of the plate, the halo area, that was just, it was phenomenal. I remember walking in that day and going to my seat and looking down going, oh my gosh, look at the plate. It looked incredible. So,
yeah.
This is going to be the last question before we get into a couple of fan submitted questions. And then of course our soon to be famous lightning round questions. If budget weren't an issue, what's one upgrade you would like to see for the playing surface and maybe the stadium next year? And why is it a swimming pool in center field on a nice day?
I'd put a roof. I'd put a roof. I would corner in the walls and I would set it at 73 degrees and we would never have a rain out and we would never need a tarp. That's been my joke all year with Pete. Like, hey man, phase 2, we're putting a roof, right? And he's always like, nah, maybe phase 3, maybe phase 3. That's a stretch. Man, I don't know. There's, man, let's see.
How about some of that Augusta National style drainage systems and the heaters up under the grass that dry it? And
True. Yeah, that could work too. Something along those lines. I mean, we're simple. I mean, quite frankly, I would settle for maybe another paint machine and maybe another mower so we could do things faster. Like, I'm so simple. Like, like I really don't think the field drains so good. Yeah, I mean, that could be something. I mean, the sub air is neat. The thing that I discussed from Hard Rock where, but, when you're hosting national championships, it's kind of like a need where like, I don't think we'll host, the Southern League World Series is not going to be as
well. They'd have to dig it all the way up, wouldn't they? They'd have to dig the entire field up, wouldn't they?
Well, the way it works is that, so the field sits on the top like this, right? And then the sub air is literally like outside, like underneath the stadium in a room. It's like a massive room. It's like it looks like a big turbocharger. Okay. And then it goes underneath the stadium and then there's like trenches and it doesn't suck a lot like fast, but it just pulls it down. And basically like it just has rows along the middle of the field like that. And it just pulls. It's because back to like my Hard Rock stuff, we used to take out the sod like on a week. Like we would strip the field naked of any grass about 6 or 7 times a season. So it was one of those things where I never saw any remnants of what the subway air looks like. And we were like this deep, so the subway air is probably maybe 24 inches below what the field surface is. So like ripping it out would be kind of difficult, but I don't see the need for it at our level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to move on to some fan submitted questions. Erin Boothalier. She had a couple of questions, actually. She submitted these via the Clingstones fan group.
Okay.
She said, do you guys have filler turf somewhere to use as replacement sections for damaged areas?
Funny you say that. Last week, I went with one of my coworkers in his truck. We drove up to Fayetteville, Georgia. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And we picked up a roll of sod from the up-and-coming United States men's soccer facility. They have like a training facility that they're starting there. And last week's project was us making a sod farm at our stadium. So that way we have sod readily available to go.
Awesome.
So it's funny that question was brought up. So yes, we do have a sod farm that we laid. It's been in the ground for about 10 days now. It's looking nice, and then we keep it's not a big area, it's maybe maybe 6 feet by 20 feet long. It's a few little strips, but it's enough to where, like, hey, if we need to cut out a 12 by 12 inch square and go repatch an area, we have that right there ready, willing and able. So yes,
and it's the same grass, same sod.
Yes. Northbridge, Bermuda. Yeah. Same.
Okay.
So that's why we went to that facility, because the distributor that sold our grass was doing that facility. And he's like, I'll have them set a roll aside for you. So it was like, all right, boom, let's go up there and get it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Aaron also asked, what does the subsurface consist of?
So you have the sod, right? And you have your sod root base. You have a layer of about 9 to 10 inches of white sand, which is basically like packing sand. It's easy for the roots to grow through. It's also easy for that water that we discussed to just rush right past it. And then below that is, I want to say, 14 or 16 inches of what's called 89 stone, which is like basically like looks like a river rock. It kind of has like little crystals in it. You see it, and if you walk along the Chattahoochee River, you see like little kind of remnants of that around there. So it's 89 stone, sand, root base, grass, and then Mother Nature. Yeah.
And her last question was, how many gallons a day does your team average when watering? And are you using city water, or are you guys getting it from like a tank, another source?
No. It's ran through the city. I can't give you a number like off the top of my head. So for instance, my nozzle I use on the field when I hand water is a 15 gallon per minute nozzle. However, I do not have it open that high. Yeah. So let's just say I'm using 5 gallons a minute, which is a lot still to think about. I know it doesn't sound.
And you're watering it multiple times a day, so it's quite a bit of water.
However, when the sprinklers are on, they're not on for as long as people may think. Like, we have 12 zones, and they each only run for like anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes, and then boom, on to the next thing. So it's not like a constant. When it comes to sprinklers, it's not a constant, and then obviously we water the field, quite a bit, 4 times a day. So we use a lot of water, but I mean, that just comes with the territory, unfortunately, with this line of work. I mean, you put a $2 million field in, you got to feed it. If not, sure. That thing goes south real quick. Like, that's Brendan and my job, is to secure that investment, make sure that thing survives.
All right. So next, again, another multi-part question. This is from JJ Pearson, who submitted it via the fan group. He wants to know what type of grass you guys use at Synovus Park.
It's called Northbridge Bermuda. It's very standard. I mean, Bermuda, there's so many different strains and different types and stuff like that. It's a warm grass. However, it could survive in colder weathers. Like, for instance, we don't use the same grass up here that we were using back at Hard Rock Stadium. We use a different style of grass. So it's all in the Bermuda family. It's just a different, like 419 or, 371 or something like that, where it's just a different strain, so, but that's what we have here. We have Northbridge Bermuda.
And then finally, Heather Clark, she is the league president at West Georgia Dixie Baseball. She wants to know where the turf was purchased from, because she would love to have some at West Georgia.
Hey, I'm pretty sure the Northbridge guys would love to get a contact for that. Yeah, I mean, shoot me an email. I'll get you that business card, definitely.
And have they been good? Has the people that sold the grass to you guys, have they been good about supporting y'all through the season?
Oh yeah, they actually did like a nice write-up for us, like in their
killer video.
Yeah, they did killer video, and then we got it a few weeks ago. They're like their seasonal write-up that they do for their sports. Like, they had like tons of pictures, and they interviewed Brendan. They like very, very nice write-up. Very nice write-up. If you want, I could find out the website for that, and I'll shoot it to you tomorrow, so you could
please
take a look
do,
at
and
it.
I'll put it in the
It's
show
pretty
notes
Yeah.
of this episode,
Yeah.
so people can
They
go and check
break it
that
down.
out. All right, brother. Well, we're gonna do some lightning round now. Like I said, our soon-to-be famous lightning round questions. These are just fun questions, stuff for you to,
Sweet.
get to just shoot from the hip and
On the hip.
let people kind of get to know you as a guy.
Sounds good.
All right, so Danny, you have a great habit of picking background music for your Facebook and your Instagram reels. Let's talk music.
Awesome.
If you had to pick
do
a
it.
walk-up song for the grounds crew, what song are you picking?
Oh man, that's tough. Okay, so I'm a South Florida person. I listen to I listen to everything. You already tell. You already tell. But when it comes to the grounds, man, we're a bunch of dogs. You know what I'm saying? So I got to go a little harder than like, your classic rock kind of thing. It'll probably be something along the lines of, no. We're gonna do it. Kodak Black's Skrilla. It's a little bit harsh, but the way it starts with the beat, like when that gate busts open, if I'm busting out that gate with 10 of my homies that are going to go to work on the field, it'd probably be that one.
When you said South Florida, I'm like, oh man, he's fixing to say Pitbull. And I'm like,
oh, no. not, I mean, great guy, but not on my iPod. Sorry.
So how about a song for when you guys are rolling out tarp? When the whole staff is out there, rain is coming.
Mary J. Blige, Rainy Days.
Nice.
That's it. That's it.
All right.
It's always a rainy day.
Hard guess, how many sunflower seed shells do you think wound up on the field this season? Give me a weight.
Definitely. Jesus. Let's say they go through, a few 100 pounds easily. I mean, and it's not even the players. The umpires are equally as bad as the players because they just stand on one spot and just it's crazy. So let's go hundreds of pounds, man. I'd say 200 pounds of sunflower seeds.
Good.
Like
that's a lot.
Like they go through like 3 or 4 of the big bags a game. Like, you do the math on that. And you're doing 6 pounds a week of just
and
that's one team. So let's say 12 pounds a week. Yeah, no, we blow them in the dugout and we vac them
up. Okay. All right. What would it take? What kind of equipment would it take to get Fuzzy's face mowed into center field?
Oh, have you guys seen any of those videos of that? I have a guy that not a guy, but there's only 3 machines in the entire world, and there's one in the United States. I don't know if you saw the last game at in Oakland. Do you see how they wrote like Oakland in the outfield?
Yeah.
So basically, that's like a new state-of-the-art thing. I've watched videos on it because it just blows my mind. So it's basically, how do I explain it? It's not really a mower. So you pre-mow the field, but you don't mow it at like right now we're at 0.6 of an inch, right? So that's like on the middle range. So like maybe 0.6 would be right about there. That's perfect. So basically what it does, it skims off a little later, but the ride-on mower, it blows air. So basically like when you see the lines on the field, it's not that one's higher than the other. The lighter line, the grass is facing this way. So like the rule of thumb is when you're walking on a field, like a football field, and it's like dark, light. If you're going to go from sideline to sideline, you always follow the light. You always walk on the lighter one of the turfs. The reason for that being is that turf is laying this way. So if you walk, you're going to lay it down. The darker side is facing you, so technically that's why you get lighter and darker. What that machine does is that it's hooked up to computers and satellites and all kinds of stuff, but it strategically blows air onto the grass and angles it. and that's how they're able. Like they've used it in, like I said, Oakland. They've used it in Colorado a few times, where they put these big old things, like in the outfield. We're like, how do they do that? Well, that's the machine that they use.
Gotcha.
And
so chances are we're probably not getting Fuzzy's face in center field next year.
Unless we go out there and paint it with pink pigment, with green pigment, I don't think we're going to be able to get a purchase order in on that thing.
Do you have any superstitions regarding field? Do you step on or over the baseline?
I'll definitely send you the link so you can get the crazy some sharing.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any superstitions regarding the field? Do you step on or over the baseline?
Oh, always over. Always over. Never on.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Always over. Another superstition that I have is that like we mow on lines. So like if I'm dragging pregame, like rather than coming off the easy way, like I will merge into the lane so that way I could try to keep the grass looking nice. So that way you don't just see tire marks going across. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me just being conscious of my surroundings and stuff.
Gotcha. All right. Last lightning round question. And I doubt this is true because you never pulled tarp in Miami. But have you ever been the guy that wound up under the tarp as it was being pulled?
Okay. So, no, never. And if you ever are on a grounds crew and that happens, just lay there. Let it happen. You'll crawl out after, because that's how people get hurt when you try to get up and stuff like that. However, this year, do you remember when we got hung, when the tarp got hung and we couldn't get it out? Like it got stuck halfway on the field. Do you remember that?
I think I do, because you guys had to make a couple of passes.
Yeah. So basically what had happened was that there was a miscommunication between the umpires and us. Like we were signaling like we need to get the tarp on now. And the umpire was thinking that we were saying like you have time. Like you have time. So with that being said, when we got out there to pull it, it was already torrential downpour and too much water got on the tarp and it locked up. Basically, we couldn't strategically pull it. That day, I didn't get eaten by the tarp monster, but I was pulling so hard on the tarp that my body was pretty much parallel and my feet slipped. And you could ask Mackenzie, you could ask anybody who was standing near me, you could ask our home team. I went straight to the ground like a sack of potatoes, but I got up faster than I went down. But that's the only time. I don't call it the tarp monster eating me because I technically didn't get eaten by the tarp monster because we were stuck, but I took a spill this year. I'll take blame on that one.
But the tarp beat you one day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tarp won me none. That's for sure. Yeah. One time.
I saw you guys dragging that sucker enough, so I guess he got a lick back. That's all.
It's always leg day in season. That's what we say. It's always leg day. It's always leg day.
Well, Danny, man, you've given us. This is going to be an excellent episode. I think
I got one more thing for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got one more thing for you guys. So, for everyone asking, the C is coming back. It's coming back. Behind home plate.
Nice.
It will come back. We had a little bit of an issue this year, like I spoke earlier, about grass and making sure it was healthy and stuff like that. And unfortunately, sometimes some of the things you have to put on the field when the team's away, if there's a dead area, I don't know if you noticed the black around the C, obviously the black creates more heat. So therefore that dies. And then next would be the peach and then the white. You saw the white logo for the advertisement on first base all year. That's fine. We got those situations taken care of. We've discussed it. The C will be back opening day for everybody.
Man,
there may be times where it's not as fresh as it is on opening day, but it will be back on opening day.
You just made a ton of people's day. When they hear this,
I know.
Folks are going to smile, man.
That's very cool.
And it was one of those things where, I'm in the fan group, I see it, it took me a little while to reach out to you. And I was like, hey, listen, I love what you guys are doing. I want to meet myself. I want to introduce you. I want to do that. There's so many times where I've backspaced out a few comments where I'm like, we have to understand that the field needs to be prepared for the players, right? If we're doing something, I know the C is one thing, but we have to understand that like our main focus isn't necessarily the C behind home plate. If it's not painted one night, it's because we may have had a sprinkler break. We may have had something that we're not doing, but it's definitely on our docket for next year. We're going to do a better job of it. We think we got the grass locked in, and it'll be ready to handle it for the season, hopefully. Definitely.
And just for a little backstory,
and we also only have 2 people who paint.
Yeah, Danny was in the fan group and messaged me after he had been in it a while to say, exactly what he said. Thank you guys for what you do for the team and for the employees at the stadium, that kind of thing. And he said, if you ever have any, I'm not going to comment on anything, but if you ever have any questions, and ask him the very first question, what happened to the C behind home plate? He's like, well, man.
And I laughed, didn't I?
Yeah, kind of explained it a little bit.
I was like, I saw that one coming.
First time. Yeah, that's not the first time he had been asked. So, again, man, you've given us such a great insight into, what you guys are doing and the improvements and even insight into the stadium itself and the construction of the field. So, man, definitely. I appreciate it. And I know I've talked to you enough that I felt like you were going to be a great episode, but man, I'm blown away. I cannot wait for this thing to clear editing.
I'm happy, guys. Thank you. And from my wife to you guys, from my dogs and everything, Columbus, thank you. Thank you.
Hey man, we're like glad to have you.
We're here to stay for some time and let's not rush too quick. But I'm looking forward to next season.
Yeah. Let you guys get a little bit of a break in. Especially
get a little vacation.
3 guys.
You guys deserve a break. I mean, you do a great job. We're glad to have you on the team, and looking forward to next year. But get some rest.
And now you're
see me around
down,
town. Everybody say hi.
It's your 3-man crew now. You don't have your game day staff coming in weekly to help you guys.
It'll be 2-man. It'll be 2-man around mid-August, October.
Gotcha.
It'll just be me and Brendan.
And one more fun fact to share.
If you guys want to come by, man, reach out to me. If you guys ever want to come by and see the facility from the backside looking in, definitely come by and say what's up, man. I'll introduce you cordially to Brendan and we'll go from there.
Awesome. So I just want to share one more fun fact as well. If you see Danny downtown, he may have a camera up to his face. He's pretty good photographer. I guess that's your hobby.
I'm getting back into it.
Yeah.
You're
living in a great place to take photos too. So downtown.
I told my wife that this weekend. I'm like, off season, I'm getting out the camera. So good. And the drone. I got the drone too.
Well, make sure, post in the fan groups. Take some good shots. Post in the fan groups. Let the folks see.
This will be like my coming out party.
Yeah. Folks know you. They know you are. They know you're lurking now. So hopefully they'll bite their tongue a little bit or their fingers.
I've met some great people already. Outside of you guys, just who see us every day. I apologize. I'm horrible with names. I'm horrible at everything, but my little crew that hangs out on the third base side that cheers for us every time we walk by and every time we go out on the field and drag on the 3rd and 6th inning. Thank you guys so much. You guys have made this season a little cherry on top. I really appreciate everybody.
And just for everybody listening, you notice he didn't say 205. So this is not a 205 only podcast.
No,
he's talking about the sections over on the third base side. So we, again, Danny, thank you so much for taking this time with us and
you guys want to do it again any other time, talk college football, let me know. Anything, let me know.
Absolutely. And I think you might have a career in some sports media. You're doing this something,
right?
You're a really good interview. Really good interview.
Thank you.
We greatly appreciate you, man.
Anytime.
All right, Danny.
Anytime.
Well, we're going to this episode, I'll be sure to shoot you a link when it debuts, but you've been listening already anyway. So
definitely.
Let me know what you think about this week's episode when it drops with Miss Zabrowski.
Definitely.
Mr. and Ms. Zabrowski.
Sick. Awesome. Looking forward to it.
All right, brother.
Cool.
Thank you so
Keep
much
killing it,
for
guys.
coming on with
Yeah, man,
us.
always in the corner.
All right. We will talk to you soon. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
Later.
See you later, man.
Dave,
Man, that was
please.
awesome.
Danny is a dude. He's a wealth of knowledge.
Yes, he
And
is. Yes, he's
It's
very
really
good.
cool to have somebody that can come on to, we said we wanted to take folks behind the scenes. And I mean, he took us all the way behind the curtain.
Yes, he did. He took us he took us further than I thought he would. Talking about, things like the big screen and other things besides the field, that he has some knowledge about that not everybody does. It's really cool of him to share that stuff with us.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. And I can't believe we're already at this point. We are going to we're going to keep giving you guys, as long as you continue to like, share, and subscribe, we're going to keep giving you all that we can, all the information that we can give you. So our guests have been awesome so far. We've got more great guests to come. And I thank each and every one of you for listening and giving us a platform to do this on. So like, subscribe, share. And if your platform allows it, please rate and review the job that we're doing. If you have any critiques, shoot us an email. We'll put our contact information and any information, the links that Danny mentioned, whatever, they'll be down there in that show description. So thank you again. And as always, go Stones.
Go Stoners. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks for tuning in to StonerCast, your inside look into Columbus Clingstones baseball. Please like, subscribe, and share to stay connected as we bring you closer to the Stones.